Good morning. Welcome into RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Hope you had a great weekend with family and friends as we begin another week of covering the latest news inside and outside the D.C. Beltway. In just a few minutes, we'll take you to the south lawn of the White House for the 2026 Easter egg roll. We'll dive into the history of that timeless tradition later in the hour. All this, of course, as we're monitoring numerous stories at this hour, including the latest on the Save America Act, the ongoing DHS shutdown, and of course, Operation Epic Fury, specifically the fact that two of our pilots were rescued after ejecting from their shot down F-15 in the Middle East. The president to hold a press conference about that at 1 p.m. from the Oval Office. You can catch our pre-show coverage at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And a bit higher in the sky by just a few miles, we're also keeping tabs on the Orion spacecraft as 4 astronauts are on the way to orbit the moon, some 250,000 miles away, 250,000 miles from Earth to the moon. So that'll be interesting to watch. There's a new video out from NASA. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. We begin our broadcast this morning on this Monday with that second pilot who had been rescued just like the first after their F-15 was hit by enemy fire. In clip 1, we look at President Trump's Truth Social post saying, quote, "We have rescued the seriously wounded and really brave F-15 crew member officer from deep inside the mountains of Iran. The Iranian military was looking hard in big numbers and getting close. He is a highly respected colonel. This type of raid is seldom attempted because of the danger to man and equipment. It just doesn't happen," the president says. The second raid came after the first one, where we rescued the pilot in broad daylight, also unusual, spending 7 hours over Iran. The president closing that statement saying, "An amazing show of bravery and talent by all." The president also saying, "I will be having a news conference with the military at the Oval Office." That's today, of course, at 1 o'clock Eastern. You can catch our coverage. It starts at 12. God bless our great military warriors, President Donald J. Trump. So that statement from over the weekend. Meantime, in about, 25 minutes or so, the White House Easter egg roll is that timeless White House tradition dating back to 1878 during the presidency of Rutherford B. Hayes. This year, the White House Easter egg roll will honor America's 250th birthday by incorporating patriotic themes throughout the event. The President and First Lady look forward to continuing this entertaining tradition, the White House says, and making it a truly memorable experience for all. And speaking of eggs, let's go to clip number 2.
Hello, everyone. This is Brooke Rollins with my dearest friend, Secretary Bobby Kennedy, and our incredible White House Senior Advisor, Callie Means. Today is a special day because 30,000 real eggs from the incredible Braswell family farm in North Carolina, where I just was a couple days ago, are being delivered for the White House Easter egg roll. And what better venue to host our 150 of America's best egg farmers than on the south lawn of the White House. President Trump loves our egg farmers. In fact, our work to lower egg prices resulted in egg-laying hens inventory up 7% in 2026, with total egg production up 5%. This helped lower egg prices by almost 80% for American consumers over the last year. I was there this week with Trey Braswell and his beautiful family, and it was such a powerful reminder of what American agriculture is all about. Hard work, faith, family, and farmers feeding this country every single day. And let's be honest, there is no better real food than an egg. It is one of God's most perfect foods, farm fresh, packed with protein, healthy fats, and essential vitamins like D and choline that growing kids need every single day. That is exactly why the new 2025 to 2030 dietary guidelines put protein front and center, and eggs are right there at the top. Because if we are serious about making America healthy again, then we have to get back to the foods that actually nourish our children and fuel their bodies. Secretary Kennedy.
For decades, we built a food system around processed foods, sugar, and chemicals. And then we wondered why our children were getting so sick. An egg is exactly the opposite of that. It is real food. It has zero sugar. It has zero refined carbohydrates or ultra-processed ingredients. It supports brain development. It supports focus. It supports growth. It helps children thrive, and it delivers the kind of clean protein that children need at breakfast, lunch, or any time of day. And that's why I eat 5 eggs a day. If we want healthier kids, stronger families, and a healthier country, and the answer is not more processed junk. It's real food from American farmers on American tables, and eggs are one of the best places to start.
This is an example of the bold, common sense leadership under Secretary Rollins and Secretary Kennedy at the Trump administration. We are putting a stake in the ground for real food, and right now the reality is, with school breakfast, it's often ultra-processed, low protein, high sugar. We're asking the common sense question: can we get more eggs on a child's plate, on the plates of our soldiers, on the plates of everyone in America? The Trump administration is working with egg farmers to put eggs on American plates. 2 hard-boiled eggs are less expensive than pastries or the things that children are being served right now. This is the type of bold, common sense leadership that we're seeing with the Trump administration.
All right, thank you. God bless you. God bless our egg farmers. We're getting ready for the White House Easter egg roll, so here we go, everybody.
Exactly, and we'll have that right here live, the White House Easter egg roll, the 2026 version. It's been back in the 1800s when it first started. We'll get into some more of the history if you're just joining us here live. And there's a video that was making its rounds on social media over the weekend all about eggs. I want to show it to you. This is from this guy named B on X. So basically, let's see if I can zoom in there a little bit. Did you see this one? Let's see if I can get the light. There you go. He takes the egg and he's able to, I don't know, just look what he does with it. Takes some skill to do something like that. I sent this to my wife. I said, can we try this at least? Pretty cool stuff. B, X, whatever. Cool stuff there. Anyway, so today, of course, talking a lot about eggs, but a lot of other stories going on as well. Let's go to clip 3, where there's a message from DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin from late last week.
All right, guys, I'm finishing up week 2, but I'm spending the majority of my time working with members in the House and the Senate and the White House. And by the way, the president is fully engaged, trying to get our great employees at DHS paid. For some reason, the Democrats, and I'm not trying to be ugly, I'm just being factual, they will not fund our Customs and Border Patrol agents or our ICE agents. But for 45 days now, they've held every employee here at DHS hostage for this political theater. It's got to stop. Please, when I say this to this radical movement of the Democrat Party, you are literally putting the homeland at risk. You're putting my yard, your loved one's yard at risk, but yet we're still playing this game. We're in the fight. May God bless you. May God bless the employees here at DHS, and may God bless the United States.
All right, so obviously Markwayne Mullin, the former senator out of Oklahoma, now the top cop, I guess, when it comes to these, at least the DHS. President Trump really is the top cop, the chief law enforcement officer, of course. But anyway, so we'll get into some more news stories, of course. Again, if you're just joining us, hope you had a great weekend with family and friends, celebrating Easter, Resurrection Sunday. A lot to talk about there if you'd like. We could. Of course, Jesus being the most famous name on earth as the Son of God, as God himself. Great to see that. Great to see all the awesome posts that were out there from various people. But also, let's go to, from Earth, let's go to kind of heaven, space. How about it? NASA, the Artemis II, as we focus our attention to that mission, as there are 10 NASA centers around the country that involved thousands of people for this whole project, this whole mission, that 10-day mission to orbit the moon. A record-setting 250,000 miles away, 4 astronauts bringing back their findings as NASA prepares for Artemis III, the launch next year to land on the moon. So, within the next 24 hours, the Orion crew will orbit the moon and then return home with splashdown off the Pacific coast. Let's go to NASA's latest video in clip number 4.
We recently received confirmation that the Orion spacecraft and its crew have officially entered the lunar sphere of influence. That milestone taking place at a mission elapsed time of 4 days, 6 hours, 2 minutes, and 54 seconds into the Artemis II mission. By reaching this milestone, it means that the gravitational forces of the moon are now greater on the Orion spacecraft than that of Earth.
I'd also like to share that we noticed we entered the lunar sphere of influence about an hour ago, and sure enough, we are now falling to the moon rather than rising away from Earth. It is an amazing milestone. Also, earlier we had the Earth out as a crescent out the side hatch and the moon out window 3, and definitely by far the moon is bigger than the Earth.
Wow, just imagine being there and seeing all of that. First time any human has in person, so in the sense of the orbit around the moon. All right, so let's do this. It's 8:45 Central Time, 9:45 on the East Coast. Let's switch our attention to Capitol Hill. Congress doesn't return until April 13th, but not too long ago, President Trump on Truth Social released a statement about ending that filibuster, saying, quote, "It is time for the Senate filibuster to end. Those weak and ineffective Republican senators that stand in the way of this should be exposed to the public. The Democrats are crazy," the president said. He also stated in a previous statement, the Republicans must do with passion and at the expense of everything else, the Save America Act, and not the watered down version, the president said. This is a country-defining fight for the soul of our nation. So the latest we see on that before we go to our first live interview of the broadcast. And again, if you're just joining us, join us again at 12 o'clock Eastern, as the president will have a press conference in the actual press briefing room there at the White House, the James S. Brady press briefing room, at 1 o'clock. So we'll start at 12 Eastern here. Of course, talking about that second pilot that was rescued over the weekend for the F-15 that was shot down over that Iranian airspace. And of course, if the president's going to be in the press briefing room, there's going to be a lot of questions about all sorts of stuff out there, right? Not only Operation Epic Fury, but maybe the Save America Act, the DHS ongoing shutdown, and the story goes on. We'll see what happens later today. So I'm sure a lot of people will watch that. And those of you joining us now, of course, we're going to go out to the White House in just a little bit for that 2026 Easter egg roll, of course, as you guys see there on the bottom of your screen. All right, so let's just dive into the Save America Act. As soon as we see that our live guest is on, we'll go there. But in the meantime, of course, there are 53 Republican U.S. senators. On March 17th of this year, 51 Republican senators said, you know what, let's bring the Save America Act to the Senate floor for debate. Next up, in order for this to advance, 51 votes would be needed to end the filibuster. Right now, the numbers are not there. But with enough pressure from people, whether it's on email or a phone call or just speaking about it or posting about it, I mean, there are employees, aren't they? There are employees. We are the boss, we the people. Did I misread the Constitution? You know what I mean? So if they do what we want them to do, they would pass this Save America Act. So it takes 51 votes, a simple majority, to end the filibuster or the nuclear option when it comes to politics here on Capitol Hill. And then from there, it would take the same 51 or any 51 for another simple majority to pass the Save America Act. And then President Trump would sign that into law. It would go to his desk. So we'll see how that all pans out. So that's something we've been monitoring, of course, here at the network. Meantime, outside of any breaking news, here are a few notable events for the remainder of this year. So let's just look at some of the big highlights, again, outside of any breaking news or big developments. On April 17th, President Trump will be in Arizona to deliver a speech at a tvOS event. We will have our crew on the ground there in Arizona to cover that, so it'll be great to see we the people once again outside of the venue. Just speaking with our folks there, Robert McNeely will be on site, so looking forward to that, and one of our great camera operators will be there too. President Trump also in May, so the next month, will travel to China to meet with President Xi Jinping on May 14th and 15th. There will be a reciprocal visit in D.C. Later this year. So the president of China will be right there at the White House sometime later this year. Yet to be officially announced, there will be a special RNC midterm convention sometime this year. So we don't know the date. We don't know the site. I've seen some reports out there, maybe Dallas, maybe Vegas. We'll see. But still, an RNC midterm convention, something that, I don't know, has that happened before? I know that we have RNC national conventions for the presidential cycles, but what will happen here? Well, the midterm convention. So that'll be quite interesting to watch and cover here at Right Side and in conservative media. Also, on July 4th, of course, our country turns 250 years young. And then on November 3rd, the United States midterm election. So I'm not sure if we have a live picture at the White House out there as we're getting ready to go there in about 11 minutes or so, because that's what time the 10 a.m. Eastern on the president's schedule, the White House schedule, says that the 2026 Easter egg roll hunt or roll will happen. Did a little bit of an Easter egg scavenger hunt yesterday with our one and a half year old. It was raining outside, so he did it inside. It was pretty cool. It was cool to see her look around for the eggs and all that, you know. Anyway, those of you joining us right now, thanks again for doing so. Again, today at 12 o'clock Eastern, we'll have another broadcast as the president will be speaking at 1 o'clock Eastern. That will be with the military there in the Oval Office, talking about that second pilot that was rescued over the weekend. On top of that, we'll see what else the president gets asked on. And I just mentioned, excuse me, that may be at the Oval Office. I'm seeing that it's actually at the James S. Brady press briefing room. I've seen a couple different reports. We'll see what happens, of course, at 1 o'clock Eastern. But in the meantime, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are live. We'll be going right to the White House live as well as soon as we see that feed start to bring you to the 2026 Easter egg roll. And as you see there, America's 250th birthday party of sorts. There'll be some things going on there just to give a nod to our 250th, of course, July 4th, 1776, all the way to July 4th, 2026. Quite the year that we have in store, but also a lot of news going on out there as we're taking a live look at Capitol Hill. We were talking about the Save America Act moments ago. Of course, a huge story still, even though the Senate is still on the Easter recess. I'd call it a vacation, but they're also doing some work out there in various districts. But a lot of people still saying, maybe I come back early and talk about the DHS shutdown, get that taken care of, and get the Save America Act passed. That's what we the people want. I'm just echoing what I'm seeing all over the place, and I'm part of we the people too, and that sounds like a good plan to me. Get the Save America Act passed and get the DHS fully funded, especially under the newly minted chief there, Mark Wayne Mullen. We'll have a video of his coming up in just a minute, unless this thing starts right on time, which is in about 7 minutes from now. Just saw on True Social someone saying, watching from UK, Matt. So that's pretty cool. So hello to the United Kingdom. Hopefully you guys get some more freedoms out there, and hopefully we don't go your direction. Sorry to say that. But I know that you are a supporter of the Constitution of the United States as well. And again, hopefully things go toward the right side of history across the pond. Now let's go from across the pond back over here to the States and up north a little bit to Alberta. I talked about this last week, and I love to talk about it again because, hey, why not? So Alberta is looking for independence, the province that has 5 million people in Canada. So, Calgary, Edmonton, Banff National Park, Jasper National Park, all the places. Well, they are looking for freedom and independence. 177,000 people signed a petition which reaches the threshold for actual independence when it comes to a vote in October of this year. So will Alberta break away from Canada? A lot of people there are saying, we want our freedoms. We love the whole we the people thing here in the States. That's what the people in Alberta, Canada are saying. So some great freedom-loving patriots. Do you remember back in the day that whole truck convoy when then Prime Minister, I don't even remember his name right now because I don't even want to think about it. He was all about shutting things down, with COVID and wasn't it bank accounts too that they were messing with? And so there's these truck convoys in Canada. Those are great patriots, right? Well, a lot of them, of course, are in Alberta and throughout Canada. Well, Alberta has the enough of the kahunas, right? To say, hey, I don't want this lording over me anymore. Canada's way further left than this country is and hopefully will not ever go. But that's what's going on there. So you can follow along if you want on X or on Truth Social. I mean, this is a story that's gaining momentum. And you know what? I haven't watched any mainstream news in a while, and I'm glad I haven't. Man, it's a waste of time. But if you were to, would they cover the Alberta story? They might, just to say they did, but they won't harp on it a little bit because they don't want to harp on truth. They don't want to harp on freedom and independence. It's the same reason that we have here in this country, the Schumer shutdown, the Democrats shutting everything down when it comes to DHS and TSA, and President Trump had to sign a memorandum just to get the TSA agents paid so our airports can look a little bit normal again. So anyway, just a few thoughts as it's 9:56, Monday, April 6th. If you're just joining us, we will go live as well at 12 o'clock Eastern today for President Trump's 1 o'clock press conference talking about a number of things. So let's kind of re-rack and start from the top for those that just joined us. Good morning and welcome again to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Hope you had a great weekend with family and friends as we begin another week of covering the latest news inside and outside the D.C. Beltway. So in just a few minutes, we'll take you to the south lawn of the White House, not too far from that Capitol building, of course, for that 2026 Easter egg roll. We'll dive into some of the history of the tradition in a few minutes. If it starts in 3 minutes, we'll be good. 4 minutes from now. But in the meantime, we're monitoring numerous stories at this hour, including the latest on the Save America Act, the ongoing DHS shutdown, Operation Epic Fury, specifically the fact that 2 of our pilots were rescued after ejecting from their shot-down F-15 and over the skies of Iran. The president to hold that press conference about that at 1 o'clock a bit later today. We'll have, again, that live coverage that starts at 12. Also, a bit higher from where we are right now, just by a few miles. We've been monitoring and keeping an eye on the Orion spacecraft as 4 astronauts are on the way to orbit the moon, some 250,000 miles away from Earth. That's the first time that's ever happened. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool images out of NASA as well when it comes to various photos of Earth, the moon, the crew, and what they're up to. But let's begin, again, our broadcast with that second pilot who had been rescued just like the first after their F-15 was hit by enemy fire. So President Trump said on Truth Social about the whole ordeal that, quote, "We have rescued the seriously wounded and really brave F-15 crew member officer from deep inside the mountains of Iran." The president saying this on Truth Social, quote, "The Iranian military was looking hard in big numbers and getting close. He is a highly respected colonel. This type of raid is seldom attempted because of the danger to, quote, man and equipment. It just doesn't happen." The president says the second raid came after the first one, where we rescued the pilot in broad daylight, also unusual, spending 7 hours over Iran. President Trump saying an amazing show of bravery and talent by all. He also says, I will be having a news conference with the military. He says here at the Oval Office today at 1 o'clock, God bless our great military warriors, President Donald J. Trump. Now, on the White House schedule, which was sent after this post that President Trump posted, the White House schedule says that that press briefing will be in the James S. Brady press briefing room. So will it be the Oval Office? Will it be in the briefing room? Really, it doesn't really matter in my opinion, because at the end of the day, we're going to hear from the president about what happened there, and obviously taking some questions from the press as everyone, coming off of the weekend and into Easter Monday, if you want to call it that, of course, as it's the Easter egg roll and America's 250th birthday celebration as well. So some things are going to happen there specifically. Let's get into that. So in about maybe a minute or so, as soon as we see that live feed start, the White House Easter egg roll is a timeless White House tradition dating back to 1878. I was maybe 10 or 12 years old then. Anyway, during the president of Rutherford B. Hayes. So 1878. This year, the White House Easter egg roll will honor America's 250th birthday by incorporating patriotic themes throughout the event. The president and the first lady, according to the White House here, saying they look forward to continuing this entertaining tradition and making it a truly memorable experience for all. All right, and speaking of eggs, I think we have time to run this unless we see a live feed, Director. Can we go to clip 2, where we talk with Brooke Rollins there on a social media post as we're taking a live look? There's the Jefferson Memorial. Beautiful sunny day there in Washington, D.C.
Hello, everyone. This is Brooke Rollins with my dearest friend, Secretary Bobby Kennedy, and our incredible White House Senior Advisor, Callie Means. Today is a special day because 30,000 real eggs from the incredible Braswell family farm in North Carolina, where I just was a couple days ago, are being delivered for the White House Easter egg roll. And what better venue to host our 150 of America's best egg farmers than on the South Lawn of the White House. President Trump loves our egg farmers. In fact, our work to lower egg prices resulted in egg-laying hens inventory up 7% in 2026, with total egg production up 5%. This helped lower egg prices by almost 80% for American consumers over the last year. I was there this week with Trey Braswell and his beautiful family, and it was such a powerful reminder of what American agriculture is all about. Hard work, faith, family, and farmers feeding this country every single day. And let's be honest, there is no better real food than an egg. It is one of God's most perfect foods, farm fresh, packed with protein, healthy fats, and essential vitamins like D and choline that growing kids need every single day. That is exactly why the new 2025 to 2030 dietary guidelines put protein front and center, and eggs are right there at the top. Because if we are serious about making America healthy again, then we have to get back to the foods that actually nourish our children and fuel their bodies. Secretary Kennedy.
For decades, we built a food system around processed foods, sugar, and chemicals. And then we wondered why our children were getting so sick. An egg is exactly the opposite of that. It is real food. It has zero sugar. It has zero refined carbohydrates or ultra-processed ingredients. It supports brain development. It supports focus. It supports growth. It helps children thrive, and it delivers the kind of clean protein that children need at breakfast, lunch, or any time of day. And that's why I eat 5 eggs a day. If we want healthier kids, stronger families, and a healthier country, and the answer is not more processed junk. It's real food from American farmers on American tables, and eggs are one of the best places to start.
This is an example of the bold, common sense leadership under Secretary Rollins and Secretary Kennedy at the Trump administration. We are putting a stake in the ground for real food, and right now the reality is with school breakfast, it's often ultra-processed, low protein, high sugar. We're asking the common sense question: can we get more eggs on a child's plate, on the plates of our soldiers, on the plates of everyone in America? The Trump administration is working with egg farmers to put eggs on American plates. 2 hard-boiled eggs are less expensive than pastries or the things that children are being served right now. This is the type of bold, common sense leadership that we're seeing with the Trump administration.
All right, thank you. God bless you. God bless our egg farmers. We're getting ready for the White House Easter egg roll, so here we go, everybody.
Amen. God bless our egg farmers out there. Just started a new diet today where it's 2 eggs and then not an energy drink, but I don't know, probiotic type of drink for lunch. And then chicken salads and fish salad, whatever, shrimp, whatever for dinner. So I'm going to try and stick to that. In the meantime, I know this is not a food show, but it's all about eggs today. So this video I showed moments ago, let's see if we can check it out there. So this guy, it's posted on X. This guy named B posted this. It's getting millions of views on X. See how he's just, trust me, there's a lot of news to talk about. We'll get to it. But this is pretty cool stuff. I don't have those skills. Be cool to have those skills. Look at that egg. Look at what he just did there. I don't know. Different things fascinate me. How about how you cook some eggs on this Monday, April 6th, 10 o'clock in the morning? We're going to be going to the White House as soon as we see that live feed. Let's go back to Washington, though. DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin, obviously just in that job, within the past 2 weeks. Giving us an update late last week. Let's go to clip number 3.
All right, guys, I'm finishing up week 2, but I'm spending the majority of my time working with members in the House and the Senate and the White House. And by the way, the president is fully engaged, trying to get our great employees at DHS paid. For some reason, the Democrats, and I'm not trying to be ugly, I'm just being factual, they will not fund our Customs and Border Patrol agents or our ICE agents. But for 45 days now, they've held every employee here at DHS hostage for this political theater. It's got to stop. Please, when I say this to this radical movement of the Democrat Party, you are literally putting the homeland at risk. You're putting my yard, your loved one's yard at risk, but yet we're still playing this game. We're in the fight. May God bless you. May God bless the employees here at DHS, and may God bless the United States of America.
All right, if you're just joining us, of course, just taking a live look there. The camera pans around as I just mentioned it. There it goes over to the Jefferson Memorial. It kind of goes between the memorial, the White House, the U.S. Capitol building, kind of a moving camera that we have there in Washington, D.C., or at least a feed that we have permission to use. All right, speaking of feeds, we're looking forward to sending it to the White House for the South Lawn. As of right now, I don't believe any network has anything on that, and I checked. There's nothing going on yet, but as soon as that live feed pops up, we'll take you there. In the meantime, of course, if you're just joining us, we've talked about the Save America Act. We've talked about the DHS shutdown. We've talked about Operation Epic Fury and a whole host of stories that we have been talking about covering over the past several weeks, months, and really years, recalling a number of things, including the fact that President Trump will be in Arizona on the 17th in April. So we'll have a crew there for that as well as he speaks at a TPUSA event. So we'll be on boots on the ground there speaking with the great patriots of our country. Let's go from Earth back to the outer space there with the moon. We know that 10 NASA centers, there's 10 NASA centers across the whole country, including one here in Alabama. And on top of that, the U.S. Space Command will be in Huntsville coming up for this 10-day mission. A lot of people are working on that 10-day mission to orbit the moon. So we're on day, I believe, 6 or 7 at this point. So you leave Earth, you go around the moon and come back. That's 250,000 miles of travel for the 4 astronauts, which will bring back their findings, of course, the photos, the document, the information that they'll get, the data, and then they prepare for the Artemis 3 launch, which will be next year to actually land on the moon. So within the next 24 hours, the Orion crew will orbit the moon and then return home with that splashdown off the Pacific coast. Here's one of the latest videos from NASA.
We recently received confirmation that the Orion spacecraft and its crew have officially entered the lunar sphere of influence. That milestone taking place at a mission elapsed time of 4 days, 6 hours, 2 minutes, and 54 seconds into the Artemis II mission. By reaching this milestone, it means that the gravitational forces of the moon are now greater on the Orion spacecraft than that of Earth.
I'd also like to share that we noticed we entered the lunar sphere of influence about an hour ago, and sure enough, we are now falling to the moon rather than rising away from Earth. It is an amazing milestone. Also, earlier we had the Earth out as a crescent out the side hatch and the moon out window 3, and definitely by far the moon is bigger than the Earth.
And many of you watched right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network that NASA feed of the launch just the other day. Quite awesome to see it. It was history in the making for going around the moon, the dark side of the moon. Pretty cool stuff there. Also, as we get ready to go to Washington, D.C. for the South Lawn of the White House for the Easter egg roll, the Lib Tier Creator 1 on X posted a video showing a throwback to when the Easter Bunny ran the country. This is with Joe Biden. Probably hard to see that too, but just various videos. Let's see if we can get the light right. There we go. Just, the bunny came over to the president and said, "What are you doing over here? Come on over this way." What a mess that was back in the day, huh? Man, it's good we don't have Kamala Harris in the White House right now. So what we're looking for, of course, are the basics. Outside of all this politics talk and Republican and Democrat and whatever wing you are, right, left, upside down, whatever. The point is, at the end of the day, keeping our freedoms, keeping the United States Constitution as a law of the land. So obviously that's what we believe in, you believe in, and thanks so much for joining us here live. We're standing by for that White House event, of course. Let's talk a little bit more, dive a little bit deeper into the Congress right now. Because on Capitol Hill, we know that Congress isn't returning until April 13th, so still yet a week away from that. I still wish at least 1, 2, maybe 10, or maybe all of them would return maybe, how about Wednesday? How about Thursday, guys? Return early to show us, hey, at least get the DHS funding fully funded so that President Trump doesn't have to sign a memorandum to have TSA agents fully paid. How about get the Save America Act passed via the nuclear option, the nuking the filibuster, ending the filibuster. This is not 1996, as you guys know. It's not 2006. It's 2026. We know the political landscape has changed. Now, I'm not saying within morals and faith and all. I'm not talking about what changes and advance and progress, none of that. I'm talking about specifically, we know that if the Senate goes back to the hands of the progressive left or the Democrats, you better believe that they will pass a lot of stuff and they'll say, hey, we don't need the filibuster. We're not going to let these few Republicans stop us from our leftist agenda. Now, if that happens in the future, we'll sit back and look on April 6th of 2026 that we were talking about it, and a lot of people are, for us to nuke the filibuster. Also, Vice President Vance said it. President Trump has said it. Tommy Tuberville, the senator of Alabama, and on. The list goes on. For the 51 votes that are needed in order to end the filibuster. Now, there are a dozen or maybe 20, 30. I've been trying to get the numbers. I even asked AI with Grok, like how many senators are for ending the filibuster, and it's not the easiest number. If I was in D.C. right now, I would figure it out. That's probably the best way to do it. I would probably knock on every door of at least the Senate, say, are you for or against it? Just wondering. And then collect that list and say, hey, here are the senators that are saying they are for ending the filibuster. Now we're talking Republicans here. The Democrats won't even look at this. Just to figure it out. That's pretty good journalism in my opinion. What are the senators that say, let's end the filibuster, let's pass the Save America Act? Because this is what's needed specifically. So we know that there are 53 United States Republican senators, all right? So we know that specifically. And then we know that last month, on the 17th, 51 Republican senators voted to bring the Save America Act to the Senate floor for debate. From there, you would need that 51 votes are needed to end the filibuster. So if you have 51 votes, you end it, and guess what? When you vote another time to pass the Save America Act, you need that simple majority of 51 votes. It goes to President Trump's desk. It gets signed into law. Now, I don't want false hope going on. And I know that even me bringing this up again might provide false hope for all of us. Right now, the numbers are not close, I don't think, to that 51 threshold for us to be able to end the filibuster. There are some that are saying they want to do that. There are others, to my point earlier, are stuck in 1996 and saying, oh, let's keep the tradition here on Capitol Hill. No more tradition when it comes to this specifically, because again, if the left gets in power and they have the majority in the Senate, do you think that they're just going to sit on their hands and be like, let's just honor the tradition of America? They won't do that. So we should understand that. How is that even a tradition of America anyway? By the way, the filibuster I'm talking about. This is something that we the people in mass want. Republican and Democrat voters out there, huge percentages say, let's have everyone have a voter ID, or at least a photo ID when you're voting. Also, in order to register in federal elections, you have to prove that you're a citizen of the country. How about no mail-in ballots from Timbuktu, as they say, except for if it's medical or military? And then there's more added to the Save America Act as well. I believe it's no men and women's sports and ending the child mutilation of our kids. So 5 things are in that Save America Act. It takes 51 people. Do you know that there are 347 million people in our country? And the numbers fluctuate, but about 347 million. And that 51 United States senators are controlling all of that, all of what the country wants. And I know that the 347 million include people that are 18 and under that can't even vote. I get all that. But there are hundreds of millions of people that are saying, pass this thing. From the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, the Commander-in-Chief. And we still have no traction that the Save America Act is going to pass because we don't have the kahunas in the Senate to do so. Man, it's just Monday morning. Let's just keep talking about eggs. Let's go back to that, huh? All right, so that's coming up here any minute from now. We'll go to the White House for the South Lawn there and watch this Easter egg roll. If you've hopefully had a great weekend, I know my family and I did. There was some rain outside, so our 1.5-year-old, she couldn't go outside because it was raining, and we had the egg hunt and all that. It was pretty cute to see inside the house, her looking for eggs at a 1.5 years old. Come on, it's very cool stuff. If you're not married and you don't have kids, please get married and have kids. I didn't know it was this awesome. Wow. Anyway, shifting gears. Let's talk about a few things coming up as we still stand by for this Easter egg roll there at the White House. So on April 17th, so just next week from now, a week and a half from now, the president will be in Arizona to deliver a speech at the tvOS event. We'll be there live. We'll have plenty of coverage there, just like Right Side has always done prior to the president's speech. So Robert McNeely will be there. We'll have a camera crew there, and we'll be able to watch. I'll be here in studio for that coverage. But there's a monitor that's right underneath this camera that I'm looking at here, right? There's a monitor that I like to watch and see all of the things that you guys have to say out there in Arizona, talking about the country, talking about what you want to see done in the country, talking about your love for freedom, your love for the president, all the different things that we hear here at Right Side. And it's always good live TV, in my opinion, to be able to go up and speak to people that are so-called everyday Americans. That's a great term, but anybody that says, not that specifically, but if you're called an average citizen, what do the average citizens say? I don't like that term. I try not to ever use it in a context of describing we the people. Because I believe we the people are the rock stars of the country. I believe we the people are the boss. I believe we the people, it's all about a government of, by, and for all of us. So I don't kind of diminish that. You know, it's no elitist crap going on. You know what I mean? Great that we have representatives. Great that we have people that are supposed to do what we want. I get that. But we have more numbers. We are bigger. We are badder. And it's all about us. It's all about our voice, our freedoms, what we want. That's why our founding fathers did what they did back in 1776. I know you guys know that. But anyway, to the point of looking forward to hearing from you guys out there in Arizona on April 17th. When you go fast forward a little bit to May, the president will be going to China. So May 14th and the 15th. And then there will be a reciprocal visit in D.C. later this year. So Xi Jinping, the president there of China, and I believe his wife will be traveling to the Oval Office. That'll be quite the high viewership as well. And then yet to be officially announced, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us, there will be that special RNC midterm convention. That's happening sometime this year. So basically to rally the troops for a huge hopeful win in the midterms. And that all depends on a number of things, you know? So we all can talk about those things, but really though, let's get out the vote. Let's win this thing because we don't want the majority to go to the leftists. And if it does go to the leftists, again, it circles back to that they'll just push through filibuster, ending the filibuster once they have a president, if they have another president in the office, if there's one that wins, through a free and fair election, hopefully. But that's why we need to end the filibuster so we could have the Save America Act passed here in this country so we don't have to face a tyrannical type of government. I mean, let's be really honest about it. This isn't drama. It's ending freedoms in our country. Don't you think that's what would happen if extreme progressive leftists got in control? Isn't that what they want? Don't they want socialism and communism and just our country to be a you-know-what show? We've seen it, and we've seen what they've done to our people. And our people are the greatest people in the sense of on the right side of history in a country that many people from around the world that love freedom, they love the United States. That's why people would want to come to the United States. For some reason, we were all born here. Thank God for that. But outside of that, it's just great to be in a land of the free, home of the brave. And I won't ever lose that patriotic, spirit that you guys have. That's what we have to have, especially in media, especially in conservative media, because if we don't do it, if citizen journalists don't do it, which there's a great number on X and Truth Social, if we don't speak up, if it's just up to so-called politicians, there are many that are running for office and that are actually, not many this time, are in Congress that are patriots, are on the right side of history. So they'll speak up for us, but their hands are tied because look at people like Tommy Tuberville. He's running for governor here in Alabama. Great patriot, on the right side of history. Wants all the things that a majority of this country wants. The Save America Act to be passed, freedom in our country, the Constitution to continue to be the law of the land, not the Sharia law in our country. That's not our law. We don't want that law. And that's nothing against the so-called religion either. That's a law, actually, that's being practiced in some nations around the world. We don't want that here. We want actual patriots, and we have to keep speaking up, and we have to keep voting. All right, so, sometimes when we are on standby here, of course, we have to delay some of our coverage and wait for the live picture, but sometimes some of the best comments, I think, are shared, as we don't have a teleprompter here, and I've covered a lot of the news of the day, and there's a lot of stories to cover, but some days it's you cover the news, and there's other days where it's, you just wear your heart on your sleeve and you talk about the country because you don't want to act like the sky's falling all the time like the media usually does. But indirectly, will the sky fall if we don't win the midterms and if we don't win the presidency in 2028? So it's kind of like a watchman on the wall, like in the Bible, right? You're looking ahead. You're like, oh, guys, come on, let's vote. Let's pass the Save America Act. We don't want to go down the way of these other countries. Trust me. And you already know that. I mean, we're just preaching to the choir. Anyway, enough preaching to the choir. Let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. I'm going to look at some other news headlines that are happening out there. Again, this was set to start at about 10 o'clock this morning. It's at 10:22. As soon as we see that live feed, we'll take you there. This is RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a great weekend. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome back to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez, looking live there with you at the Jefferson Memorial. Beautiful memorial. Obviously, Thomas Jefferson, the third president of our country, a founding father. Thank God for people like Thomas Jefferson back in the day, huh? All right, 10:25, Monday, April 6th. We are live. We're waiting that live feed to the Easter egg roll and America's 250th birthday as we are starting our coverage this week. Of course, a lot coming up here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, including President Trump's speech that will be happening in Arizona. That will be April 17th. So we'll have boots on the ground there. Looking forward to that live coverage here. I'm sure we'll have quite the pre-show for that, to hear from we the people out there, to hear what you think about our country and your love for all the things God, family, country. So we look forward to that as well. Of course, President Trump speaking on the 17th. All right, so if you're just joining us, we're going to go over a few of the stories we're covering and also just some commentary as we continue to stand by for this Easter egg roll. And when you see the America's 250th birthday, what we're told is that there will be a number of events going on, specifically just a nod to our 250th. As, of course, July 4th, it's go time for a country when it comes to 250. Pretty cool stuff. And if you haven't gotten a chance to see the Freedom Plane, the United States National Archives, so a number of the documents from our founding are on board the Freedom Plane and going to various cities across the country. So check that out if you'd like. It was just in Atlanta, Georgia the other day, not too far from where we're located here in Alabama. So cool stuff. Check it out if you'd like. And I think what I've seen, at least in Atlanta recently, that it was sold out, or the tickets were all claimed. Now, it's a free event. When I say sold out, meaning there's only a certain amount of tickets that you're able to attain there. So if you are able to check that out, just type in Freedom Plane, United States National Archives. When you look that up, you'll see the various cities that the plane will be traveling to. And then for about maybe a week and a half, the archives, the documents from our founding, you'll be able to see that. To be honest, I want to see those documents, but I also want to see the Freedom Plane. Aviation's pretty cool stuff, and I think that's pretty awesome that we have a plane called the Freedom Plane. Anyway, so let's do this. We know that the president will be speaking at about 1 o'clock today, all about Operation Epic Fury. The military will join the president. Probably, obviously, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, maybe Mr. Kane himself, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Daniel Kane. We know that the president says that this will be at the Oval Office. However, we're seeing also at a later time that the White House posted a schedule saying that this would be from the James S. Brady press briefing room. So that's at 1 o'clock today. Our coverage will start at 12 Eastern, just in case that thing starts a little early, which surprisingly, we saw the president speak about 20 minutes early at a recent event. So sometimes he may be early as well. So it's kind of cool. We'll get into some specifics as to what the president will be talking about, of course, with the second pilot that was rescued over the weekend. So we'll hear more details about that awesome operation to save one of our great Patriot pilots from that F-15. In the meantime, all of this brought to you by a number of sponsors, including mypillow.com/RSBN, the warehouse moving sale, saving up to 80% on a number of great products there. All you have to do is go to mypillow.com/RSBN. You have the slides, the slippers, you have the pillows, the My Coffee, the Giza Dream Sheets, all the things. A lot of products there, including, how about the dog bed? You know, if you have a pet, check out the dog bed. Different dog bed sizes as well. All right, so mypillow.com/RSBN. If you'd like to donate to Right Side, all you have to do is go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. As we grow, as we expand, and as we pay for all the things here at the network. Of course, we have some great sponsorship, but also the donations go a long way as well, especially, things like travel. We have a crew that will be going all the way to the Southwest. So those of you out there maybe watching early, it's 7:30 in the morning out there, but we're going to be going to Arizona coming up in about a week for President Trump's speech out there at a TPUSA event. So all of that and a number of other things as well as we grow and expand. So if you'd like to donate to the network, all you do is go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. And there are a number of you that do send checks to the network, and you have over the years. Thank you for doing so. So if you're somebody that would like to send a check to us, we do have a P.O. box for you to send it to, and it's here in Alabama. So it's 1550 Opelika Road, Opelika spelled Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. So, grassroots, right? Grassroots back in 2015 when it all started here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Great to watch some of the archives sometimes. If you get a chance, go on Rumble, go on YouTube, and just go to the oldest tab and watch some of the older videos here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. And all of the crowds, inside venues, outside venues, the lines, all the correspondents that have worked here over the years, most of them in the sense of good to watch, of course. And then, Joe Seals and the family, they just said, you know what, let's do this for freedom. Let's do this for the country, because we knew that President Trump's speeches were not being aired in its entirety. They weren't showing the crowds. You remember when President Trump would say, turn the camera around and all of that. It reminds me of a time in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. If anybody's watching from the Keystone State or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that's where my wife and I are from. Hello to you guys. And one of my first events was in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. It was great to see. Actually, that was my first event back in 2022. Being on air here at Right Side, but all of the love for the country and for the president seen back in, of course, 2022 at that time. And then to the other point that I was trying to make, which might have just slipped my mind, I told you it's no teleprompter here. If it comes back to me, I'll bring it back to you guys. But it's just great to see all of the things that have been happening over the years here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, including in South Dakota, if you remember. In Rapid City, President Trump's speech there, he paused for about 20 to 30 seconds when that dramatic music played, and the country and the people there in South Dakota standing up on their feet, chanting USA. We remember all those amazing events. But now that we have the president in the White House, we are wanting to see the same wins and those campaign promises happen, and we've been seeing a number of them happen. One of them we really want to see, of course, and there's a number, but Save America Act. President Trump always talking about voter ID, talking about all of the things, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots, all of those things, no men and women's sports, ending the mutilization of our children, that kind of thing, for transgenderism. So those are 5 things that are inside the Save America Act. And remember those 20 core promises to the American people as well that we heard on the campaign trail. So what we're looking forward to is our country being saved. That's why it's called the Save America Act. All right, it is 9:32, 10:32 Eastern, 9:32 Central. Thanks so much for watching from coast to coast, including, of course, the Central Time Zone, the Mountain Time Zone. And while we await the White House there was some false reporting that happened. I think there was some messaging happening on the left side of history on X. I don't know if you saw this. You can look it up if you'd like, but maybe 20 to 30 people. And I think that even Karen Levitt reposted Ari Fleischer X post about this. And there was about 10 to 15 people, and some of them have decent followings on the left. And they were saying, the president's at Walter Reed Medical Center. Did you hear about this? He's not now. He wasn't over the weekend. And just because the president's not seen for 10 to 15 hours on an Easter weekend, the left comes up with, hey, let's stir up something. You got to remember, it's obviously you don't trust those people. And that's what it's about. And I saw something today, I forget the brand name of it, but it was talking about truth, trust, and transparency. And that's what you have to do. You have to have the trust for who's sharing that news with you, whether it's right here at Right Side, whether it's online on X or on Truth Social. because it caused a number of things. I looked at it. I saw that Walter Reed was actually trending number 2 on X. You know, on occasion on the weekend, you pick up the phone, like many do, and you see, oh, wow, why is Walter Reed trending? And I looked it up, and it was because people were saying, oh, President Trump said Walter Reed. He was rushed to Walter Reed. It was a bunch of BS. It's fake news, just to stir up. And we remember that people on the left, they love to lie. That's how they share their false narrative. They want to create drama. So really, at the end of the day, I know a lot of you out there, you watch Right Side, you watch conservative media, you watch people that you trust in podcasts or citizen journalists, people that are showing proof and receipts, not only in their reporting, but in just the way they speak. And I think there's something, nonverbal communication. I know we're going down a rabbit hole, but hey, we've been waiting here at the network. We're going to be going to the White House as soon as that live feed starts. But nonverbal communication is what? 92, 94, 96% of communication. You can tell, and in that content, if people are on the right side of history or not. It's kind of like speaking your language, right? When I meet people, well, I met some people at church yesterday. I meet people all across the country when we do some traveling. You can tell when somebody is speaking just straight up common sense truth, and by what they say and the content how they say it. And that's what the key is right now. And I believe that's what I'd be looking for if I was not in media and I was watching media, conservative media, podcasts, citizen journalists, their posts, what they say, how they say it, receipts, evidence, all the things. That's where the trust comes in. Interestingly enough, CNN calls themselves the most trusted name in news. Right. Let's go to All Family Pharmacy, one of our great sponsors here at Right Side, as we await that live feed there in DC. So most Americans take preparation seriously. We prepare financially, we prep our homes, we plan for emergencies, but when it comes to healthcare, most people are still waiting until something goes wrong. And then by then you're dealing with delays and limited access and a system that doesn't always come through. So there's a smarter way to handle all of this. All Family Pharmacy lets you get ahead of it. All you do is you go online, you request medications you want on hand, you fill out a short medical form, and a licensed doctor reviews your request. If appropriate, they write the prescription and ship it straight to your door within days. There's no insurance required, no waiting rooms, no middleman. You can keep the essentials stocked as well and ready. Things like antibiotics, antivirals, ivermectin, mebendazole, NAD+, hydroxychloroquine. How about methylene blue? More than 400 prescription medications that millions of Americans rely on every single day. So this is what taking control of your health care actually looks like, not waiting for the system to help you. So if you believe in preparation and medical freedom and having real options when it matters most, go to All Family Pharmacy. They have your back. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Use that RSBN 10 promo code for 10% off. Let's go to Birch Gold Group as well. As soon as we see that live picture, we will take you there to DC. So when the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971, 10 years before I was born, gold was fixed at $35 an ounce. Fast forward to today, and the US dollar has lost over 85% of its purchasing power. So gold, on the other hand, of course, has increased in value by more than 12,000%. That's why central banks are buying gold at record levels. So at RSBN, we encourage you to consider diversifying your savings with physical gold from Birch Gold Group. But this all starts with education. Birch Gold just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. This free online event rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. You can sign up to get free silver on your next purchase. Get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you can earn. But you must act now, as this special event only runs through April 30th, the end of the month, of course. As the dollar lost its anchor in 1971, you don't have to lose yours. Text the word Trump to the number 989898 to join Birch Gold's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April 30th. Again, text Trump to 989898 today. All right, 38 minutes after the top of the hour. The event on the schedule of the White House said 10 a.m. for this event, the Easter egg roll. So obviously 38 minutes into that, that's all right. That's probably a lot of people on the South Lawn getting ready for this event. Also, the President of the United States and the First Lady, so we'll see them both. I believe that there will be a podium there. There will be maybe a brief speech from the President, as he sometimes does that outside of the White House on that, what is it called? Is it the portico, right? He'll be speaking, I'm sure. So we'll see that. But also, for those of you watching live now, when this event ends, which may be just right around the start of our next broadcast, but at 12 o'clock Eastern, we'll continue on a separate live stream, and we'll cover the next event that's happening at the White House, where President Trump will be speaking at 1 o'clock. Specifically, we'll have the military with him, I believe Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Daniel Kaine. That's what I believe when they say that the military will be present in that room. That'll be at the James S. Brady press briefing room. There's been a couple reports that it'll be at the Oval Office or at the briefing room. Well, at 1 o'clock, the president is going to have a press conference. Of course, speaking about a number of things, including Operation Epic Fury, and specifically the fact that 2 of our pilots were rescued after ejecting from their shot down Air Force F-15 jet. The president to hold that press conference at about 1 o'clock. We'll start at 12. So that's about an hour and 21 minutes from now. So we'll be here for that. Let me double check any live headlines that are happening right now on various sites. We do know, of course, that the Artemis II crew is flying around the moon, the first time that's ever happened. That's happening. That's pretty cool stuff. Let's see what else. There's a gasoline tanker that erupted after striking power lines in Texas. Quite the view there from, I know you can't see it from this distance, but on Breaking 911 and other things that we follow here, Rapid Response 47 as well. So a lot going on just on this day because, of course, some of the top stories that we've been tracking, everything to do with the latest on the Save America Act, needing the 51 votes in order to end the filibuster, but no false hope there. I mean, it doesn't look like there are the numbers to get that done, which means that the Save America Act might not pass. It's a sobering truth. I don't want to have to say that, but that's what we're seeing. Again, 51 senators. That's all we need. There's 347 million people in our country, and we need 51 people to say, hey, let's have photo ID and proof of citizenship when you register to vote. Ooh, so progressive, so terrible to do that. Or, you know what I mean? Anyway. All right, so 10:41, it's Monday, April 6th. We've been covering Operation Epic Freedom. We've been covering the Save America Act. We've been covering the DHS partial government shutdown, which took a presidential memorandum to be signed in order to pay TSA agents. So the airports are looking like they were, which were unprecedented lines. Some of you that are watching, whether live or on replay, you may have seen that line. You may have been in those lines. It was pretty, I don't know, what word do you want to use, unprecedented, to see the line go outside of the airport terminal. That, for a TSA checkpoint, I'm 44. I've probably been on planes since I was, 12, 14, 16, all these, 20, 25, all these times. I've traveled around the world. I've traveled around the country, okay? I've not ever seen something like that. And it got to that point that the president's like, well, we're going to have to sign this memorandum, get the TSA agents paid, because they need to check what's in the bags and all the things, you know? Ridiculous stuff. But anyway, we've been covering that. We've been covering some of the latest when it comes to the Epstein files as well. That's a story to follow. And also Artemis II. So there's just a lot, again, that we've been looking at here. We're going to, again, looking forward to April 17th, President Trump in Arizona. We'll have boots on the ground there. Looking forward to hearing from we the people out there for that trip. So that's April 17th. Anyway, let's go to Rumble Wallet, one of our great sponsors here on Right Side. You may have seen those conversations happening online lately. Censorship, unfortunately, is back. And it's happening everywhere. Platforms controlling narratives, pushing the stuff they want us to see. So we can fight back in the information and financial arena. And Rumble is one of the only companies that has really stood the test of time and deserves our support, because on one side, Rumble is challenging big tech censorship, which is always great. But now on the other side, they have introduced something that will give us protection from the big banks shutting us off. So let's talk about Rumble Wallet. Not only can you tip your favorite creator with crypto or dollars, you can also have control of your money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. Rumble can't even touch it. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tether Gold. So it's not only a wallet, again, to buy and save. You can tip various creators like us and others out there. So just go to wallet.rumble.com or just go to your various app store, whether it's on Google or the Apple App Store, and you can type in Rumble Wallet. You can open an account and step away from the big banks for good with wallet.rumble.com. Rumble Wallet. Let's also go to Kalshi.com/RSBN. Let me double check that as well here on the network. Again, as soon as we see that live feed, we'll take you right there to the White House on the South Lawn for the Easter egg roll, and also some of the America 250 kind of events that are happening simultaneously with that. But I'm going to go to Kalshi with you here and see what kinds of things people are betting or trading or just checking out various polls on various stories, including things like when will DHS be fully funded. People are, putting money on the line for that, or at least checking out various polls. So I go in there and I checked politics right now. So let's see here. How long will the government shutdown last? Some people say at least 70 days. Some are saying at least 80 days. How about when will DHS be funded again? When will traffic at the Strait of Hormuz return to normal? All the things. So you see all of that. You can check it out too. And it's not just politics, of course. There's sports and there's faith and there's weather and there's all the things, technology, science. Kalshi.com/RSBN, great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. I think we're going to be going to the White House any second from now. We're going to go to the South Lawn. I think it's a beautiful day there, blue skies, as we're seeing that other live picture. So as soon as we see that event start, we'll take you there. In the meantime, let's double check any headlines. We've been live since, I believe, 9:30 Eastern. Went over a number of stories. Let's do this. Director, do we have time to go to the Artemis 2 video? Yeah. Okay, let's go to the latest NASA video as we are monitoring outer space as well.
We recently received confirmation that the Orion spacecraft and its crew have officially entered the lunar sphere of influence. That milestone taking place at a mission elapsed time of 4 days, 6 hours, 2 minutes, and 54 seconds into the Artemis 2 mission. By reaching this milestone, it means that the gravitational forces of the moon are now greater on the Orion spacecraft than that of Earth.
I'd also like to share that we noticed we entered the lunar sphere of influence about an hour ago, and sure enough, we are now falling to the moon rather than rising away from Earth. It is an amazing milestone. Also, earlier we had the Earth out as a crescent out the side hatch and the moon out window 3, and definitely by far the moon is bigger than the Earth.
Pretty cool stuff there. I read that the Orion spacecraft is about the size of 2 minivans. So the inside of 2 minivans, that's really all the 4 astronauts have for the space inside outer space. So again, they're going to go around the moon here in the next 24 hours or so. So we'll see images that we haven't seen ever, because this has not ever happened before. And you can fact check if you like. And of course, that's cool to do that. It's always smart to do that. Fact check those kind of statements. Is this the first time this has ever happened? Check it out. They're telling me it is, in the sense of NASA and others, and I'll report that. But usually when it comes to common sense stuff, that's why I like to really hone in on that, focus in on the God, family, country stuff, because you can't go wrong with it. You can't go wrong with, we love God, country, and family, you know what I mean? And freedom. All right, so Disclosed.tv about a minute ago reporting saying just in, Iran rejects U.S. ceasefire proposal, emphasizes permanent end to war, emphasizes requests a safe passage agreement in the Strait of Hormuz, lifting of sanctions and reparations for reconstruction. The IRNA saying that. So specifically, to be honest, do I know what IRNA stands for? I do not, so I'm going to look it up real quick. But obviously it's an Iranian news agency or an Iranian, yeah, it's exactly that. It's an Iranian news agency. So that's what they're reporting. Of course, that could be totally off the wall of what the truth is. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing from disclose.tv, which is pretty good stuff. Disclose.tv is good stuff too. But anyway, RSBN, glad you're watching right here live. Also, we're about 25 seconds away from going to the White House. That's what I just heard in this ear. Got that earpiece in, ready to go. At 12 o'clock Eastern, we'll have another live stream. I'll talk about that in just a minute, as the president will have a press conference talking about a lot of things, including Operation Epic Fury. In the meantime, getting ready to toss it there to the Easter egg roll. Also, the 250th birthday kind of celebration as well. There's a lot of celebrations happening throughout the year, of course, for our 250th. Specifically, as we await that live shot there in D.C., I'm scrolling to some of my notes here to talk about the specifics on the Easter egg roll hunt. It's a timeless White House tradition that started in 1878. Check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and First Lady Melania Trump, accompanied by the Easter Bunny. Master Gunnery Sergeant Kevin Benier, accompanied by the President's own United States Marine Band, will now honor America with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Does he have a good voice or what? I think we're going to send him to the Met. We'll get a little commission, make a lot of money, because that man can sing. Thank you very much. It's not the first time we've heard him. So today is a very special day. It's a day where we celebrate Jesus. It's a day where we celebrate religion. And it's an honor to be the President of the United States. Our country is doing so well, like it has never done before. You'll see that very shortly. And things that we've done have not been done before. We've broken every record on the stock market. We've broken every record in our military. And what about the rescue that took place yesterday? What about that? That's something that you rarely see. You know, they were giving me a briefing about that. And they said normally when you're in very hostile territory, and I don't think it gets much more hostile than Iran, they're capable fighters. They're very tough people. And there are others like that. You don't mind when the enemy is weak, but that enemy is strong. Not so strong like they were about a month ago, I can tell you. In fact, right now, they're not too strong at all, in my opinion, but we're soon going to find out, aren't we? But when a thing like that happens, where a pilot's shot down, in most instances, you're really not able to go in, because you'll go in with 200 people and lots of jet fighters and helicopters, and you really don't have a chance. They get shot down. You lose 200 in order to pick up one. It's a horrible thing, but it's very rare that you can do it. And what we did yesterday is we picked up not one, we picked up two. We kept the first one quiet, and we were able to keep it quiet for about a day, which made it a lot better. But those two pilots were incredible, brave, and we thank them. And we're going to be having a news conference today at 1 o'clock at the Oval Office, and we look forward to it. But I just want to say we have a great military. We're the greatest military, the most powerful military any place in the world. You saw what happened with Venezuela. And it's an honor. I built it in my first term, and I didn't know I was going to be using it this much in my second term, but it's my honor, and they're the greatest people on earth. Our warriors are the greatest fighters on earth, and they very much appreciate you and love you, and that's why they do it. So this is all about today. I must tell you, I came out and I expected we were going to be talking about farmers, and we love our farmers. We were going to talk about so many different products, but you know what they want to talk about? Sir, this is about eggs. Eggs. Because we have the egg farmers of the entire country here, and they are unbelievable. And if you remember, when I first got elected, my first news conference with the fake news, a lot of fake news here today, but I had a news conference, and the first question, what are you going to do about eggs, sir? I said, what's wrong with eggs? I just got there. It's my second day in office. I had a news conference, and they were screaming at me, what am I going to do about eggs? Then I said, well, it's like, tell me what's wrong with eggs. The price was so high. It was 4 times higher than it was a year before. I said, well, that sounds like a problem. Let me think about it. And Brooke Rollins, our great Secretary of Agriculture, she got involved. We all got involved. They didn't want me, as you know, just last year, it's hard to believe, they didn't want me to order eggs for the Easter egg roll, the Easter egg hunt that we have here every year. They wanted me to use plastic. I said, I'm not using plastic. We'll get it solved. And within a short period of time, eggs came down. They came down 40%, 50%. And by the time we got there, we had so many eggs, we didn't know what to do with them. And today we have more than 40,000 eggs supplied by all of the great egg farmers that are with us. So eggs is a big thing, and it was a big thing to our great First Lady, who's here someplace. Let's see. I think this is our First Lady. What do you think of our First Lady? She's a movie star. I don't know. Do we call her First Lady or a movie star? She has the biggest movie. Can you believe this? And she deserves it. Would you like to say a couple of words to your friends?
Happy Easter Monday. I hope you enjoy this beautiful day. We are celebrating a very special Easter egg roll this year because it's 250th birthday of this beautiful nation. Enjoy it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks. Thank you, honey. And she worked very hard with her staff and the staff of the White House on really just making it nice. This is the nicest I've ever seen it. So this is my 5th, and I will say that it gets better every time, right? It gets better every time. You notice the fencing is all brand new. I said, we could have bought used fencing and saved a lot of money. They said, this is for Easter, and this is for our egg farmers, and we're going to get new fencing. Everything's new and everything's beautiful, and the White House never looked better, and our country never looked better. So I just want to thank everybody. It's been a special period of time. 1 year ago, a little bit more, our country was dead. We had a dead country. We had an administration that didn't know what the hell they were doing. Today we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're respected by everybody, and that's the way we're going to keep it. That's the way we're going to keep it. So again, I want to thank all of the associations and the egg farmers and all of the people that are here. We think we could have 50,000 people coming all day long. It's open, and they expect between 30 and 50,000 people, so that's great. And most importantly, I want to just say Happy Easter and God bless America. We have the greatest country on earth. God bless you all. You are very, very special people. Thank you, everybody. Have a good time.
Where are you going, buddy? Go this way? All right.
so they can... Speaking to the press. Is main camera getting it?
So are you committed to committing a war crime in this war with Iran?
What else?
Mr. President, you said that Iran had no anti-aircraft equipment. How were they able to drop those?
Well, you know what? When you do thousands and thousands of flights and you have one plane shot down and not mortally, the two pilots got out, they got a little bit lucky. And you know what? In war, you need a little bit of luck also. They got a little bit lucky. That's all they got.
Ending the war. What's stopping you from ending the war?
Well, it could end very quickly, the war, if they do what they have to do. They have to do certain things. They know that. They've been negotiating, I think, in good faith. We've had total regime change. You know, the people there now are much more reasonable than the lunatics that you had in phase 1 and phase 2. They were lunatics. The people that we're negotiating with now on behalf of Iran are much more reasonable. You can call it what you want, but I call it regime change, and I think most people are giving us credit for that. The first regime was taken out, the second regime was taken out. Now the third group of people that we're dealing with is not as radicalized, and we think they're actually much smarter.
Why did you use such vulgar language in that truth social?
Only to make my point. I think you've heard it before.
Mr. President, have you spoken to the families of the airmen that were saved? Have you spoken to the families of the airmen that were saved?
I'm going to be doing it right now.
Mr. President, what do you say to Americans who are not a fan of the war?
They're foolish, because the war is about one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Had we not broken the Barack Hussein Obama agreement, you know what I'm talking about, the Iran nuclear deal. This is years ago, my first term. You would have had a total, Israel would have been gone, extinguished. Israel would have been wiped off the face of the earth, and the entire Middle East would have been, at a minimum, in big trouble. But I did it. That was phase 1. We killed Soleimani. Without Soleimani, if they had Soleimani, it would be a whole different thing. Maybe. Would still be winning, but it would have been harder. Because we are obliterating that country. And I hate to do it, but we're obliterating, and they just don't want to say uncle. They don't want to cry, as the expression goes, uncle, but they will. And if they don't, then they'll have no bridges, they'll have no power plants, they'll have no anything. I won't go further because there are other things that are worse than those two. And we might have, well, the thing, if I had my choice, what would I like to do? Take the oil. Because it's there for the taking. There's not a thing they can do about it. Unfortunately, the American people would like to see us come home. If it were up to me, I'd take the oil, I'd keep the oil, and would make plenty of money. And I'd also take care of the people of Iran much better than they've been taken care of. It's been a horrible. They've killed 45,000 people as of a month and a half ago. 45,000 protesters. We don't do that. So if I had my choice, I'd keep the oil. But I also want to make the people of our country happy. I think most people wouldn't understand that. I'll give you an example. Venezuela has worked out so incredibly. We have 100 million barrels of oil right now in Houston being refined. It's been great. The relationship with Venezuela, the leaders, has been fantastic. And I think we're going to have a long-term, very good relationship. And it might be beyond long-term. You understand what that is? Well, I tell you what, I'm pretty good at this stuff, and I go around and I check. They'd like to see us win and come home. And I appreciate CNN for the first time maybe in my life. They did a poll. And everyone's saying, oh, is Trump losing MAGA? No, I'm not losing MAGA. MAGA loves what I'm doing. And CNN did a poll of MAGA voters, a big poll, very important poll, Harry. And he went on, he said, this is amazing, 100% support. He said, I've never had a 100% poll at anything before. And is, do you support Trump, MAGA people, which is, by the way, mostly Republican. And if you look, I would say MAGA makes up a majority, like about 95% of the Republican Party, all right? So they went out, they did a poll, and CNN came back 100% support. So they support what we're doing, but they would like to see it end and come back. But remember, wars last years. We're in there for 34 days, and we've obliterated a very powerful country in 34 days. Yeah, if it were up to me, I'd like to keep the oil. I just don't think the people of the United States would really understand. Yeah, who are you with? Who are you with? Well, that's a radical left group of lunatics that you're with. Let me just tell you, very fair question. The Iranian people, when they don't hear bombs go off, they're upset. They want to hear bombs because they want to be free. And the only reason they're not out protesting, you know that, is because they were informed that if they protest, like the wrestler and his friends, if they protest, they will be shot immediately. And that's an edict, that's in writing. If they protest, if they go out in the streets, they will be immediately shot. They don't have guns. You know, we sent some guns, but the group that was supposed to give, which I said would happen to my people, I said it, I called it exactly. We sent guns, a lot of guns. They were supposed to go to the people so they could fight back against these thugs. You know what happened? The people that they sent them to kept them because they said, what a beautiful gun, I think I'll keep it. So I'm very upset with a certain group of people, and they're going to pay a big price for that. But the Iranian people will fight back as soon as they know they're not going to be shot and as soon as they can get weapons. If they had weapons, not many of them, if they had weapons that would go in the other way, and you know what would happen? Iran would give up in 2 seconds because they wouldn't be able to take it. But in Iran, they have absolutely no weaponry, and they've been told point blank, if you come out to the streets, you will be killed. As of this morning, and we have this on pretty good information, 45,000 protesters have been killed. Pretty bad.
Mr. President, you said Iran has been obliterated. Why are we still at war then?
It's a big country. They can't fight back. They have no capability. I mean, they have some missiles left. They have some drones left, but essentially they have no capability. They had a lucky shot with an airplane, but we got them back out. The rescue was incredible. And it wasn't of one person. It was of two-person. There are those that say that's never happened before, because usually when you're shot down in strong enemy and deep enemy territory, you can't go after them because you'll end up losing 250 people to get one. So it's a terrible thing. But we had to make a decision. Do we do it or do we not? And we did. And, you know, we have some helicopters with a lot of bullet holes in them right now. Probably you know that. Now, I'm very honored to have rebuilt our military. In my first term, second term, and we are the most respected country anywhere in the world with the greatest military anywhere in the world. Thank you. So we have a news conference. You'll all be there, so you can ask the question in a little while. We have a news conference in a little while. What would you like to ask her?
What she wanted say, Madam First Lady, can you tell us your message to children who find themselves in war zones during this Holy Week?
Well, all of this is happening for their future, so they will be safe in years to come.
That are now in a war zone. We're keeping them as safe as we can possibly keep them. But we're fighting for their parents, their grandparents. We're fighting for them. We're fighting for their future. And I will tell you, it was given to me loud and clear, the time the Iranian people are the most unhappy when you hear bombs all over is when those bombs stop. That's the problem. It's when they stop, because that means that, are they coming back? We want to have them back. And, you know, everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. So hopefully it can be over with quickly. Again, there are lots of different alternatives. We have many alternatives. We could leave right now, and it would take them 15 years to rebuild what they have. We could leave right now. But I want to finish it up. Iran, ready, cannot have a nuclear weapon. They are lunatics, and you can't put nuclear weapons in the hands of a lunatic. Thank you very much. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. Anybody in the egg industry vote for Kamala? A low IQ person. She's a low IQ person. Who's a lower IQ person, Biden or Kamala? That's close. That's probably the toughest question. That's a tough question.
President Trump, can we take a picture like best friend Elliot? That's why I voted for you.
Real fast.
No. Come. You're the best. Wait, you're lucky my daughter.
Come on, daughter. Come on, Mom.
Yes,
Mom's very aggressive.
Very.
She's an aggressive mom.
Yes, she is. Thank you.
Take this away from the lens.
Got it?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes. Yes, and he's British and he does surprise. So the little guy, wait a minute.
What happened to your country?
Oh, God, it's the worst.
President Trump, Emirates is the first one that has to check like this. It's great.
How beautiful. How beautiful. How beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the most powerful man in government with us today, Mr. Jameson Greer. Have you heard of him? He's right here. Come on over here, Jameson. How are we doing on trade?
We're doing well, sir. We've exported more in the past 2 months. The United States have ever exported. Over $300 billion in January and February. It's the highest in American history we've exported thanks to his deals. Tariff. Good job.
This guy's fantastic. Look at him, my friend. Huh? You doing okay? Huh? You want to say something? So your son will be impressed. Come on up and say something. Come on up. This way your son's going to be impressed. He's high tech.
Yes, sir.
He's all. Go ahead, say a couple of words.
Well, the economy is doing great. The high tech sector is amazing. AI is booming. We got so many data centers going up. It's really incredible.
Are you impressed now with your father? He made a beautiful speech. He's doing great. You guys are great. I think we're doing good. Come with us. Okay. Regardless of it. And we're doing well with the electric, everything fine?
Yeah, yes.
I'll see you. Do you know that?
I think I'm on your schedule for that.
Yeah, they're all my kids.
Well, come on over here, kids. You have a great day. You'll be better. Come on. Oh, look at it.
His name's all. So you only have to remember one name. I know. Can you believe that?
She's that happy, beautiful face. Look.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I know it's
Freedom, Where did you get this hat? I want this hat. Look at a beautiful hat. Look at the tall egg guy back there, huh? That's Jacob.
Oh, the tall egg guy, yeah.
So we go this way.
Say hi, Mr. Trump.
We wanted to be smart like
Say hi, Mr. Trump.
Hello, sir.
Hi, sir.
Maybe she's a better
Thank you. Happy Easter. Thank you.
Amazing. You know, the last 48 hours, nothing like
I love that hat. Where did you get it? I'm serious. I can't get a hat like that. Look, it's even got. Who's your name? Well, that's big stuff.
Could you also sign this?
Okay.
Could you also sign this?
Where?
Ready, Jared?
I don't even mind if it was used before. Okay, are you ready? Ready? Get set.
Strategy. All right, is everybody watching? You kids are up next.
Are you all ready? Ready? Everybody. Very athletic. Focus. Ready? Hey. Do my hair like that. We're a half. Cut it.
you ready? Want to do one more? Get it. I know. He's like me on the go. Get back. Get back. No. Move the egg. Get it back. Look, are you ready? Ready? Get set. One more.
He's on hold. If they like that. I want to keep this. Thank you, David.
We're not here. Definitely pay a little extra. But we never. Hey, Trump was nice. He was right. So we.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I'm gonna get my back. I'll suck it.
You want to go by the Easter Bunny?
Really? Like bees?
number one movie in the country. I recognize that one right there with the shades on. Break off. You're going to play them. I could sign autographs for you guys. And then tonight you could sell them for $25,000 on eBay.
Can you sign mine? Can you sign mine?
I'll sign it.
Carolina, do you want to give Grandpa your picture?
Caroline is the only one that doesn't want my autograph. Very spoiled. She has zero. I would say Carolina has zero interest in my autograph. Oh, that's nice. I think I'm going to sign this. That way I'll say I drew it. Look, I drew it. Look what I did, everybody.
Can you sign the back?
Ready? See, now Biden would use the auto pen. He'd have an auto pen following Joe Biden. He didn't sign it. He was incapable of signing his name. So they'd follow him around with this big machine. You know what it was called? An auto pen. And he'd have the auto pen signed for him. He'd take the paper, hand it to his guys, they'd sign it with an auto pen, give it back. Not too big, right? Better to sign it.
President Trump.
Okay, that's the fake news.
I made Air Force.
Who likes the fake news? Does anybody like the fake news?
No.
Look how beautiful it is. Are you going to go to work for NASA someday?
No. I mean, I made it for you.
Okay, here's for you.
Thank you, Donald Trump. But President Trump, this one was for you.
Honey. Johnny, where's he?
Hey, President Trump. President Trump.
See what I do? Look, I'm signing. They won't let me draw. They keep giving me things. You're distributing a great art. Right there.
That's not AutoCAD.
I'm going to use one of them.
I wanted you to
Very talented. You want to be an artist?
Jackson. I want to be a football player.
You have to grow a little bit. You have a good arm? What position do you want?
I want to play linebacker.
Look at this guy. He's a great photographer. He's our best looking photographer. I don't know if he's our best photographer, but he's our best looking, which frankly is more important.
You got another one behind you. One's here. Right behind you.
Wow, did you do this photo yourself? That. Thank you very much. Good luck with the linebacker. But you're going to have to do a lot of working out, right? Day and night, day and night. It's got to become an obsession. You have to love hitting people. You like that? You know, I was sitting looking at the White House. Too long. I got a lot of lights. Don't you? See what we're doing? We're fixing up. About fixing up the has been fixed in 1799. I see the spots over there. They got hit by. See the middle column? Okay. See the up right above the middle column. The two columns. Now go up a foot and a half. You see the broken piece of it? You see it? The White House. No, you see what I'm saying? That's this thing. It fell out 100 years ago. No, but do you think anyone else would see it? See, I look at that, I say, that's your perfect. You gotta go in and take care of it.
You have something from
Turnberry. This egg is ready to break. This breaks up in cup. I think we can get him another egg. This egg is stinks. This egg is seen better. Who's this egg? Where's your from? Is that guy here, the handsome guy? Is that your son? I owe you. Greatest phrase in the history of make America great again, right? So see, now it's great. Jay.
That's the North King. I just saw that scene.
Yeah, of course. And here, they're going to all lose their job. No, they're going to lose their job. away from the exit. Thank you. What we should do? We should put our track on. Hey, Michael. Stay music. Well, if they don't have it. They got the band on it. How long can an egg last if you don't do it? I mean, can it sit for 10 years? Does an egg last for 10 years? If you don't open it, can an egg last for 10 years? No, it'll last for starts to rot. Whoa, that's good.
No, come on, we're doing something else. Billy, get out from under the table. Billy, let's go do something else. Get out from the table. Go. Go. Go.
Sure. Is there an auto pen around, please? Does anybody have an auto pen? You know, Biden they used to follow him with an auto pen in the car. He died. And he gave everything to the auto pen because he was incapable of signing, let alone running a cat.
Yeah.
Everybody having a good day? We need a little music. Come on, get Michael moving. Come on, Michael.
Daddy, look.
It's a wooden spoon. You know how I know that? My mother used to use it on me when I was bad. My mother would use this on me. I recognize her very nicely. She said, I'll take the wooden spoon. I said, oh. Who's this? That'll be a front page area. Where's your daughter? This one? You have beautiful hair. You have beautiful hair too. How do you know that? You know that? She's your daughter? $51.
Please.
How old are you? I said 51.
Whatever.
51.
I thought you were 46. I thought you were 46. You're Donald Trump.
What a great dancer.
A good dance. Wow. You're Donald Trump. Give it to Grandpa. Donald Trump. Bye-bye. Donald Trump. You're going to go for it. I'm going for it. Where is it? Wait, is that your wife? Where is it?
Yes.
Who is that? Who is that? Is that?
She's a movie star. She came in from Hollywood.
This is the line. Thank you so much. Oh my God! What is your favorite color in your house? What is your favorite color? What is your favorite color?
I'd like to have my hair done just like hers. But I'm afraid that that's way too much.
Sorry, at this point, she's gonna hurt that. Got it.
I think it's not going to work. Okay, who's this? Is he friend or foe? Are you friend or foe? They're our only foe.
He's White House.
Okay, who's his at? Okay, who wants? Okay, here's the thing that's worth $10,000. Who wants a bet? That's a lot of money you just got.
No, please.
Thank you, everybody.
Careful with that.
Who's going to be at the press conference? Who's not going to be? So, hey, Tiffany, so you go. Coordinate.
Mr. President, how would it not be a war crime to strike Iran's bridges and power plants?
Because they killed 45,000 people in the last month. More than that. I think it could be as much as 60. They kill protesters. They're animals. And we have to stop them, and we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. They want a nuclear weapon. They've been trying for a long time. I stopped them with the Obama horrible Iran nuclear deal. I stopped them in a lot of different ways. We got rid of Soleimani, the evil genius. He was an evil genius. We got rid of him. And then we stopped him with the B-2 bombers not so long ago. And if we didn't do it, Israel and the Middle East would have been extinguished by now.
Why'd you move the aircraft? Why'd you move the aircraft?
And I hope they take the chance. If they don't, it's
Are you on board with the
who you in? So bad. It's such a bad network. It's such a pathetic. Is this your camera? You what? Go ahead. They will. They'd like to have a ceasefire because they're getting obliterated. So we'll see how they behave. Okay. Number one, you have to have a lot of courage to do it because the chances of doing it were very small successfully. And it's amazing that we had nobody even injured. It's amazing. It never happens when pilots go down in war. You're in tough territory. Vietnam, places like Iran, they're tough. They know how to fight. They're nasty. Very rarely do you go in because you're going to send 200 people in on a mission, and that mission will likely be unsuccessful. You're going to get one person and you're going to lose 200 people. So we did something that was risky. Well, we have a great military.
You fear you're going to lose like the diplomatic?
Could happen.
If it seems like diplomatic talks aren't picking up, are you willing to hold off on attacking?
Well, I want to say I don't even want to talk about it because I've given them chances and they haven't taken them. So I don't want to really talk about that. Okay?
Go. Is the deadline back again?
Highly unlikely. They've had plenty of time.
said, I'm going to give you 10. But at the end of 10, all hell's going to break out if you don't get there.
Mr. President, do you expect Vice President Vance to continue to be talking to the intermediaries from Pakistan?
Well, he is, and we have Steve Woodcock and Jared Kushner, too. They're all unified and they're all talking together.
Do you expect the Vice President to be involved in an in-person meeting with officials in the coming days?
Could be. Could happen.
What else do you hear from Iran beyond? Wall Street, do you have a message for the Hispanics?
I love Hispanics. Happy Easter.
We love you. Mr. President.
None advice you have for you or about this fun.
Love your wife. You're still happily married. Is this you? Is this for you?
Well, we got to know about to be father right there too, but President Trump.
Yeah,
he's
one of my all-time favorites.
favorites.
You got to be kidding. You're about to be a father. You've come a long way. He's always been fair, and he's always been fair. He went a little astray. Not him. His girlfriend went a little astray, but these are minor details.
This is really funny. I will say on the other side of that coin, we got a fatherless problem in the United States. So many kids are growing up without a father figure. You combine that without the Heavenly Father being in a lot of their homes, that 1-2 punch is crushing a lot of these American families.
Well, the second thing has a lot to do with the first. And we want to bring religion back into our country. Bring in religion, and we have. You know, if you see what's going on, Brian said, there's a real resurgence in religion, and we like that.
You okay? I'm very good to see you. Happy Easter. Real quickly, and thanks for your friendship, by the way. I appreciate that. You're going to talk about this.
I didn't drop you.
Thank you. I never stop supporting you, ever. You're going to talk about it today at 1 o'clock. But how great was that rescue mission? Some people say they've never seen it before.
There's a theory that it's never happened because it's 2 pilots. It was 2. And remember, the first day we went into an open desert, and that helicopter has so many bullets. You would have respected helicopters, and you would have said no way it could stay.
Right.
And it's loaded up with bullets. That's why we had to go a different way with the other one. The other was tougher because it was, longer, the timing and the mountainous terrain. He was amazing because he was able to get to a place and to climb when you're injured, to be able to climb that high. It was really incredible. But they're both doing good. They say it has never really been done before for 2. It's been done on occasion for 1 or 2. When a plane goes down into truly hostile territory, you would rate that top of the line house for you. You would say can't be much tougher. Tough people, tough fighters. And that was central right there. That was central. That was Iran plus. And when planes go down in territories, whether it's Vietnam or Iran, you sort of equate the level of fighting ability, I would say. You rarely go in because you have to, we had 200 people go in there. And because of the location, because of where you are, you're surrounded by guns all over the place, guns, missiles, and everything. You could lose 200 people for the sake of getting one. So as much as we want to get our wounded and get our people out of there, we want to do it badly, but it just doesn't happen that much. And I said, let's do it. Very risky because we could have lost 100 to 200 people in order to get one.
It went the other way.
And it went the other way.
Mr. President.
They want to. I've heard that they want to. She should star in it.
Who do you want to play yourself, President?
She'd be better starring.
Mr. President, who do you want to play yourself?
I picked the best looking guy around.
What about yourself?
If he can't act,
what about yourself?
that's okay. I want the best looking guy. I don't care if he can act.
Mr. President. Come say hi to the volunteers.
You were able to authorize the search and rescue operation. The fact that it was so dangerous, the fact that it was successful, what message does that send to Iran as this deadline comes to a deal about the lethality of our military capability?
I think they've seen it for the last 40 days. There is no military. Look at what we did with Venezuela and how well that's worked out. We're taking in hundreds of millions of barrels of oil. It's been an amazing relationship. We get along with it. It's the best thing that ever happened to Venezuela. They're back on track. They're doing more business, even though we're essentially a partnership on the oil. They're doing more business now in Venezuela than they've ever done before. Money's coming in like it's never come in before. It's amazing. And frankly, we could do the same here. Because if I had my wish, I would just like to take the oil. But I don't know that the American public wants that. They want us to go in, do what we have to do, and get out. You know what? We went in for a very simple reason, and not regime change, but we got regime change. This is a whole different regime. This is a different group of people. They're more moderate. They're smarter, much smarter.
And, we blew up one regime, we blew up another regime, and now we're dealing with a third, and it is more moderate, it's better. But we didn't do it for that. It seems to be a byproduct. We did it for a simple reason. You know what that is? No nuclear weapon. And they will never have a nuclear weapon. Now, on top of that, we've decimated their military. We've knocked out their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, most of their missiles are gone, most of their drones are gone. And their leadership is gone. Their radar is gone, their anti-aircraft is gone, and they'll get a lucky shot off. And, if you shoot enough shots into the air, you're going to hit something. And that's what happened. But our military is great. We built a military that's good. I rebuilt the military in my first term, and I'm using it in my second term.
Sir, do you have a message for the crew of Artemis II as they get ready to do a lunar flyover?
I think that's fantastic. Jared, and not Jared, this is my other Jared. I have two Jareds in my life, right? Jared's done a fantastic job at NASA, and he's been amazing. And everybody told me he was going to be good. I didn't know he'd be that good. And he's got that thing hopping. He's got NASA hopping, and he was an astronaut. He's done this. Very successful guy, and he's doing a great job.
Does it add to the meaning that this is happening the 250th year of American independence?
Well, it's happening then, and it's also happening at a time where we're in a very, very powerful, you could call it a military operation. People like me to call it that because they don't like me using the word war. Because they say, he said war. Let's call it a military operation. But no, Jared's doing a great job. NASA's amazing, actually, amazing. And that's some ship. And so risky. Personally, I wouldn't want to do it, okay? We all have courage. I would prefer not to.
Hey, President Trump, did you ever think you see the Trump derangement syndrome so bad that you got people on Twitter, looks like they're even rooting for Iran?
Yeah, they're sick people. They're sick people. And they're weak people. People that are rooting for, they're weak, ineffective people. They lost. But you put them up in front, put them right in front of me, right here, and they wouldn't open their mouth. They wouldn't open their mouth. They're very weak, ineffective people.
Mr. President, say hi to us. Or at least start building it.
Who's doing a legal challenge?
It's a group of veterans, sir.
Group of veterans?
Because it obstructs the viewshed between Arlington National Cemetery and...
You got to be kidding. This was approved 100 years ago. Do you know that? It never got built. It was stopped by a thing called the Civil War. That circle has sat there vacant for hundreds, like 150 years or something. And they tried to do it again in around 1901, but it never happened. Now, I think we're doing very well. I think it's going very good. And veterans are the ones that should like it. It's called the Triumphal Arch. It's in honor of the veterans.
Mr. President, you got the master this week. Yes, I will. Mr. President, what would you say to the people who might be concerned that bombing civilian power plants could be a war crime?
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. It's a war crime? Having a nuclear weapon. Allowing a sick country with demented leadership have a nuclear weapon. That's a war crime. And if I allowed that to happen, like 7 other presidents did, every president said, many of them are saying off the record and they're saying behind the scene, they should have done this a long time ago. For 47 years this has been going on, and every one of those presidents should have done it. And actually, as you know, off the record, they're doing it off the record because they haven't got the courage to say it. Those presidents have given me a lot of credit. This should have been done by Obama, should have been done by Clinton, should have been done by the Bushes. This should have been done. And it would have been a lot easier if it was done a long time ago, right? Do you agree with me?
Sir.
The war crime? War crime is allowing Iran to have a nuclear weapon. And take a look at countries. Take a look if they would have had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. You'd have no Israel. You'd have no Middle East right now. And they would have been coming here. I'm not going to let that. That would have been a war crime. Thank you.
Mr. President, you called me a tall egg man. Can I have a handshake? Mr. President, I'm a tall egg man.
We'll see you at the news conference.
Thank you.
I have a challenge point.
You're good looking, but he's better looking.
Any FLOTUS press?
Yes. Yes.
Well, there you go. President Trump live for the 2026 Easter egg roll, and also, of course, a speech, and then down there listening to the U.S. Marine Band, and then down on the South Lawn with We the People. As you guys heard, a number of reporters asking the president questions as he walked his way back to the Oval Office, where he says the 1 o'clock press conference will be happening. So what we're going to do now is this live stream is going to conclude. We're going to start up and fire up another one as we get ready to go to the White House once again to hear from the president, as he will have some of the military with him. I believe the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, may be there, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Daniel Kane, as they discuss what happened over the weekend for two pilots that were rescued. The F-15, two pilots had to eject right when that plane was getting shot down in Iran, but they were rescued. And speaking of that, about a minute ago on the White House X page, they posted this photo here. Obviously, the light's not the easiest thing in the world to show you this, but it says "No man left behind," showing the Air Force jet. It also says, "We will never leave an American warfighter behind." Tune into President Trump's news conference today at 1 o'clock. Of course, you can do that right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We'll be firing up a new live stream in just a second. Also, all of this brought to you by some great sponsors, including CovePure.com. You've heard us talk about CovePure before. And if the water scares in Flint, Michigan and East Palestine, Ohio weren't enough to get you to make the switch, well, this might. More than 176 million Americans are drinking tap water with PFAS in it. They're man-made chemicals used in food packaging, non-stick cookware, firefighting foam. Scientists call them forever chemicals because once they're in your body, they stay there, they don't break down, and they're linked to hormone disruption, immune damage, and increased cancer risk. But here's the part that should make you a bit angry. The EPA set legal limits for PFAS in drinking water back in 2024, but the water systems have until 2031 to comply. So that's 5 whole years from now, and until that deadline arrives, a utility can operate above the legal limit right now and isn't required to notify you. So you're just drinking it. So that's why every single household needs CovePure. Forget the tap water, go through CovePure. The government knows these chemicals are harmful enough to regulate. They're just not making anyone act on it yet. So which means if you want clean, healthy water, you're going to have to do it yourself. CovePure was engineered exactly for this. Unlike the normal pitcher filters that you get at the store, their Clearwave reverse osmosis technology is actually certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants. So those PFAS, heavy metals, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, filtering particles hundreds of thousands of times smaller than a single human hair. And the best part about CovePure is they make it so easy. It fits right in your countertop. You don't have to drill any holes or call a plumber. You just plug it in. You can even get whatever temperature water you want, hot, cold, or warm, with a tap of a button. So you don't have to wait for the year 2031. Take control of your water quality right now. Head to covepure.com/RSBN. And because you're a viewer here at Right Side, you'll get $250 off right now. So that's covepure.com/RSBN. Also, this brought to you by All Family Pharmacy. Most Americans, take preparation seriously. We prepare financially, we prep our homes, we plan for emergencies. But when it comes to healthcare, most people are still waiting until something goes wrong, and then by then you're dealing with delays, limited access, and a system that doesn't always come through. So there's a smarter way to get behind or around all of this. It's with All Family Pharmacy. They do this simply. All you have to do is go online, request the medications you want on hand, fill out a short medical form, and a licensed doctor reviews your request. If appropriate, they write the prescription and ship it straight to your door within days. There's no insurance required, no waiting rooms, no middleman. You can keep essentials stocked and ready like antibiotics, antivirals, ivermectin, mebendazole, NAD+. How about hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue? And there's more than 400 prescription medications that millions of Americans rely on every single day. So this is what taking control of your healthcare actually looks like, not waiting for the system to help you. So if you believe in preparation and in medical freedom and in having real options when it matters most, All Family Pharmacy has your back. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Use that promo code RSBN10 to save that 10%. All right, it is 12/11, Monday, April 6th. We're wrapping up this broadcast, firing up the next one. We'll see you on that next live stream as we'll go to the White House for the President's news conference. So Matthew Alvarez, we'll see you in just a second.